Hi everybody, it's Crystal. So today I have a crochet tutorial for you, and it's extremely easy, very versatile. You can make it pretty much anything that you want it to be. So you've seen the beginning pictures. That's my mannequin. Her name's Emmy. She is 6'1", and she wears a size extra large. And on her, I made it a vest, kind of, or a duster, kind of, and put it, you've seen it there with the belt and without a belt. So that's one option that you can do. Another thing you can do is you can seam up the front and make it a top. You can make it as long or as short as you want. I told you she's 6'1" for height references, so you can see how far it goes down on her. Now, it's the reason why it's so easy because it's just made with two extremely long panels, and the stitches are very easy. You just need to know how to chain stitch, a single crochet, and double crochet, and that's it. So it's two very long panels. So, and they're worked horizontally, very, very long. So you see this gray right here? This is one panel, and then it was seamed, but it continues around to the front like that. So that was just one big long panel folded in half and sewn on the back. Now the red is not a separate panel. It was just, the color was just switched during the process of crocheting that panel. And the yellow and black here, that's just one big long panel too. And like I said, the color, this piece is just this panel, it's just folded in half. So it's really long. And you can adjust that by, I'll give you the multiple of the stitch and show you how to make it, and you can adjust it to the height. You can make it shorter, longer, whatever you like. The color was just switch midway through, so it's not like a color change. And then, or it's not like 4 panels sewn together. It's just 2 very long panels folded in half. And then it is sewn together at the sides. I use the mattress stitch, but you don't have to use that, but I'll show you how to do it in case you want to. You could use any method you want. And it does form its own sleeves here. But you can add more to the sleeves if you'd like. And the same thing on the other side was sewn here, the red you see. I'll show you how to do all that, and it formed its own sleeve. And the back was sewn together. So those 2 panels were sewn together here. At the yellow and the gray. But you can't even really, no, you can't even tell really that they were sewn. Nice, huh? It's really nice. So it was sewn all up, and then I didn't do any edging or anything on it. It's pretty much easy, it's super easy. And you can make it solid color if you want. You don't have to switch colors in between the rows of the panels. You can make it however you want. Now, I'm going to give you the dimensions of this. If you look in the description box, I'll give you the sizes the best I can for the length that this one is. Now, remember, you can adjust the length based on my mannequin being 6'1", and you see where it lands on her. If you want it shorter or longer, all you have to adjust is your beginning chain, and you chain it however many inches you want yours to be. But remember, it is folded in half, so you'll have to do like double that. Okay, so do you guys want to go ahead and get started on it? All right, let's go ahead and do it. All right, so we're going to take a look at the panels first. Now, the panels, when you look in the description boxes, I have the sizes there for small to 5X. Now, this is a very forgiving pattern. So what I mean by that is it's stretchy and it's very forgiving. So the measurement of this one is not stretched. So you want it, when you measure, you want to measure it not stretched. Approximately 12 inches. And then the length is 70. And that is the part that you want to adjust if you want it longer or shorter. All right. Because its length is 70, but when you fold it in half, it becomes about 35 inches in length. So, if you want it longer or shorter, you can adjust the starting chain, and I'll give you the multiple of that. Now, when you look at this piece, each of these sections right here is a repeat. See that? So you can see that this section, each color section has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that panel's done. So that's it. This is where the seam is for the other side. So that's where it was folded in half. So this particular panel is 12 inches across and not stretched. Of course, it's going to get bigger when you stretch it, because that's why it's so forgiving. So you want to measure it not stretched. It's about 12 inches, and that is for the large, extra large size. All right, so you look in the description box and it'll tell you how many of these repeat sections for your size. And of course, if you want it bigger or smaller, you can adjust that too. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the yarn that was used. All right, so for this project, I used Ice Yarn's Summer yarn. Now, you don't have to use this yarn. You can use any yarn that you'd like, but for the particular site, you know, down in the description box, the sizes, I have it set up for a 2-weight yarn, because this is approximately a 2-weight yarn. And it is a 70% mercerized cotton, 30% viscose blend. Now, as you can see, 4 colors were used. I used black, yellow, red, and then a gray. And it took a little over 1 ball of each for the large, extra large size. There's 350 meters here. So it'll also give you the approximate amount of yardage that you will need for your size down in the description box. For the one that I used, the large / extra large size, it took about 1,600 yards of a 2-weight. Now remember, you don't have to use 4 colors. You can make it completely solid. You can make it 10 different colors. You just do you. You do it however you like. Now, I'm also going to mention that I'm going to be basing the sizing down in the description box off the length that the mannequin has, which is about, it measures about 35 inches long. You can adjust that by, right now I'm going to show you how to do the stitch, and the beginning chain is the length that you would need to adjust, all right, because you do 2 long panels exactly the same, and that big long chain will be the length of, it's going to be folded in half, and that will be the length of your project. All right, so I'm going to be showing you with a different yarn and a different hook size, because it's hard. It's going to be hard to use that little, show you with the little 2-weight yarn. But yes, that was made with a 2-weight yarn, and it was made with a 4mm crochet hook. So all that info will be below in the description box. I'm just going to show you with some scrap yarn. All right. So remember, we're going to make 2 panels exactly the same, and you want to start out with a slip knot on your hook. Now this is the part, if you want to make it longer or shorter, that you adjust. So you see the mannequin is wearing, like I said, the large, extra large, and it folded in half and sewn up. It's approximately 35 inches long on her, and she is 6'1". So to get it 35 inches, we need to make the panel 70, our first chain, because we're going to make 2 of them exactly the same, 70 inches long. So, and it's done in a multiple of 4. So what you do is you just chain in 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Until you reach approximately 70, 71 inches, something like that. And that's going to give you the length that my mannequin is showing. If you want it shorter, by all means, you can do it shorter. Say you only want it to be 25 inches. Then you would make a 50, 51 inch chain. You know what I'm saying? If you want it longer, however long you want your piece to land on you, double the size of your chain. All right? In multiples of 4. And then once we get that done, so for the large, you'll see this in the description box, but for the large, extra large size, which you see, the chain was 304. Remember, 2 panels, exactly the same. So once you get that done, we'll go ahead and start stitch. Okay, so for row 1, we are going to do a single crochet in the second stitch from our hook. Remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. And then we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch until we get to the end of the row. So row 1 is 1 single in every stitch for the length of your chain. Now remember, your chain will be really, really long. If you're, if you're making it as long as mine, it'd still be pretty long even if you're not. Because it will be folded in half. And once it's folded in half, that's the size. That's the length that your project will be. So it's really easy. And like I said, very easy to adjust to your liking. Very versatile. Very forgiving. Like I said, since it's such a stretchy stitch, it's so forgiving. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing for row 1, 1 single crochet in every stitch until I make it to the end of the row. Alright, so I've made it to the end of row 1. Now row 2 starts the repeat rows. It's rows 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. But don't worry, they're very, very easy rows to repeat. That's what makes those sections that we kind of use to count as. I'll show you here in just 1 second. So we got row 1 done. Row 2 starts to repeat. So what we're going to do is chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and turn our work. We're going to put a double crochet into that very first stitch. So just 1 double. And then we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch. Like that. And then we're going to do a chain of 2. 1, 2. We're going to skip 1 stitch, skip and single crochet into the next. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. So we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 1, 1 double crochet into the next. Chain 2, skip 1, and 1 single into the next. And that is the repeat. So again, we chain 2, skip 1, and double into the next. And then we chain 2, skip 1, and single into the next. Sorry about that. So we're going to do this all the way across. Chain 2, skip 1, double into the next, chain 2, skip 1, and single into the next. And you want to repeat this pattern until you get to the last 3 stitches of your row. So that's what it starts to look like. All right, I'll see you at the last 3. All right, so I've made it to my last 2 stitches. I just did last 3 stitches, I'm sorry. I just did a single crochet. So I'm going to do a chain of 2. I'm going to skip 1, and I'm going to put a double crochet into the last 2 to match the beginning where we put a double crochet into each of the first 2. So 1 double crochet there, and 1 double crochet there, and that'll end row 2. So we'll go ahead and start row 3. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to put a single crochet into the first stitch and the second stitch. And now we're going to start the repeat of row 3. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put a single crochet on top of the next double. So all the way over here to the next double, you just put a single crochet into it, and that is the repeat for row 3. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you just skip all this and you come over to your next double crochet right here, and you put a single crochet into the top of it, just like that. Again, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into your next double, like that. Repeat, chain 3 and single crochet into your next double, and you want to repeat this pattern until you get to the last 2 stitches of your row. All right, I'm coming to the end of row 3. I chain 3, and my last 2 stitches here are double crochets from the previous row. So I'm going to chain 3 and just put a single crochet in each of those last 2 stitches. There. And there. And that ends row 3. So that's what it's starting to look like. Let's go ahead and start row 4. We're going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and we're going to go ahead and turn our work. We're going to put a double crochet into the first 2 stitches. So 1 double there, and then 1 double into the next. And we're going to chain 2, and we're going to put a single crochet into the next chain 3 space. So right here, we're just going to put a single crochet right through it, just like that. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 4. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to put a double crochet into the next single. So the single right here, we're going to put a double crochet into it, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to put a single crochet in the chain space, the next chain space, just like that. Again, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to put a double crochet into the next single crochet, all right, so now we're going to start row 4. So we are going to chain 1 and turn our work, and again, that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to put a double crochet into the first 2 stitches. So there's 1 double and 2 doubles, just like that. So we got 1 there and 1 there. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to put a single crochet right through this chain 3 space from the previous row, like that. Now we're going to start the repeat for row 4. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to put a double crochet into the next single crochet, like that. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to put a single crochet into the next chain 3 space, and that's the repeat for row 4. Again, chain 2, 1, 2, and we double crochet on top of the next single crochet, and then we chain 2, and we single crochet into the next chain space. Again, we repeat, chain 2, and we're going to do a double crochet top of the next single crochet. We're going to chain 2 and single crochet into the next chain 3 space, and we're going to repeat that pattern until we get to near the end of the row. So that's what it's starting to look like. All right, so I'm coming here to the end of row 4. Put a double crochet here into my last single. I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to single crochet into my last chain space, and then I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to end by putting a double crochet into the last 2 stitches, and that will end row 4. Now we can go ahead and start row 5. Now row 5 is just a repeat of what we did on row 3. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to put a single crochet into the first 2 stitches, and then we'll go ahead and start the repeat here of row 5, remember, which is just the same as row 3. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to single crochet into the next double crochet, just like that, just like what we did right down here, right here, where we made these chain spaces. Again, we're going to chain 3 and a single crochet into the next double crochet, chain 3, single crochet into the next double crochet. So we're just going to repeat this pattern for row 5 until we get to the last 2 stitches of our row. All right, so I just chained 3, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to skip all this because I'm just going to put a single crochet into my last 2 double crochets, and that ends row 5. See how easy this is? Super easy. Now we're going to start row 6. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we are going to put 1 single crochet into every single crochet and 3 single crochets into every chain 3 space. So we're going to go ahead and put a single crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then we will put 3 single crochets right through this chain space. 1, 2, 3, single crochet into that next single crochet, and then 3 single crochets into the chain 3 space, single crochet into the next single, and we're just going to repeat this all the way to the end. 3 singles into the chain 3 space, and single crochet into the next single, and I'm going to repeat this all the way until I get to the end of the row. All right, so we made it to the end of row 6 and row 7. Very easy. It's the last repeat of the row. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're just going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch across, and that ends the repeat, rows 2 through 7. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out row 7 here, putting just 1 single crochet in every stitch across, so I make it to the end of the row. And there it is. That is the repeat sections 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you would just keep repeating that. Now remember, if you look in the description box, I give you some rough estimates of some sizes, and you can customize it to however you like. Okay, but let me go ahead and show you one more time here. So for my panel, you can see that is, I count that. When you look in the description box, it's going to say how many repeat rows. So this is considered a repeat, that whole thing that I just showed you. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this panel actually has 8 repeat rows for the panel, because then midway I just switched colors and then did 4 more repeat rows. All right, that doesn't count because that's the seam where we sewed it. So that's the actual panel. Now if you do want to switch colors on a row 7 repeat, if that's what you want to do. But like I said, when you look in the description box, it's going to be give you measurements, and it's going to count the repeat rows that I just showed you as the sections, like how many of those you need for your for that size. And when you measure it, remember to measure it not stretched out, okay? Because I didn't stretch mine when I measured it, and that's why it's so forgiving, because when you stretch it, you know, the sizes, it can fit more sizes. All right, so you need to make 2 panels the same exactly. Remember, you can switch colors as many times as you like, or you don't have to. And then we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to sew them together. All right, so remember, you could sew this together any way you want. You do not have to do the mattress stitch. I do think the mattress stitch is one of the cleanest ways that you can sew anything together, but I don't always use it. Actually, more often I don't than I do, but I'm going to go ahead and use it now. So you got the right side of your work facing you. And for the mattress stitch, you want to use a yarn needle and a big long strand of yarn, because remember, we have to sew all the way up this side. So you notice that when you look at your stitches here, they have 2 loops. The one closest to you is the front loop, and the one furthest away is the back loop. So when we're working on the front piece, we always go through the back loop. When we're working on this back piece, we always go through the front loop. And we'll go ahead and start. So I always look at the mattress stitch as kind of like lacing up my shoes. You always take your needle and go in the stitch down and back out. You never go from the underside. All right, never ever. It's always going into the stitch down and then back up. So you want to take the first stitch here and you want to go into the back loop on this front piece and pull it through. It's a little finicky down here when you're dealing with the tail, but you need to leave the tail hanging because we'll use that. So leave quite a bit of it hanging there. I don't know, 6 inches or so, because we're going to be using that to tighten it up later. And now we're going to go into the corresponding stitch on the piece from on over here, but we're going to go needle down into the loop that's closest to you, like that. And this is what we're going to do all the way down. So again, now we're going to come across to our next piece, and we're going to go into the loop that's furthest away on the pieces closest to us. Needle down, like that. Get that tail out of the way. It'll be easier once you're up here further and that tail ain't in the mix. And then you go into the corresponding stitch on the other side, the loop that's closest to you over here, needle down, just like that, and pull it through. And you want to keep doing this back and forth and back and forth. So again, you come over here to the next stitch, the one that's furthest away, needle goes in from the top like that, and then you go over to the other side into the corresponding stitch and needle into the loop that's closest to you. Needle goes from the top downward, just like that. And we just keep doing this all the way up until we get, every so often, here I'll show you. Let me do a couple more real quick. Actually, once you get to going on this, it really, the speed, you can pick up the speed. I'm just kind of doing a little slower to teach you here, but if you already know how to do it, then you don't need me to teach you. But once you do it for a little while, like this, what you would do is, you can do more than this. I'm just going to show you real quick, but after you get, you know, several inches on it, every so often what you want to do is you take your main piece like this, and then the tail, and you just pull it. And just like that, my piece broke, that's okay. And just like that, it closes right up. See that? I pulled too tight and my piece broke, but I'll just tie it back on and start again. So you just keep sewing it up in that manner, and you know, once you get like 5-6 inches, come down here and pull it together tight. Not a size I did so you don't break your yarn. Well, I guess this yarn's just easy to break because I didn't even really pull it that tight. And go up another 5-6 inches, come all the way down here, grab your tail, and then your main yarn, pull it tight to where it seams up. And you keep doing that all the way up until you get your armhole as big as you want it to be. Now you can leave as many inches on your armhole as you like. It really depends on how big you made your piece too. I don't know how big mine is. I would say mine's probably about 6 inches I left probably on mine. So, you know, whatever you'd like. That's completely up to you. Some people like bigger armholes. Some people like smaller. But continue on up until you get the armhole the size that you want it to be. And then hide your tail, you know, sew it in a bit. And then you do the same on the other side and make sure that you leave the same amount for the armhole on each side. Alright, so I got both of my panels sewn up. Here, as you can see, here's the armhole on one. So it's facing this way. And here is the armhole on the other, facing that way. And you can see that it's all sewn up the side. Now we're going to sew up the back. So I got my pieces here. And we're just going to sew up this panel to this panel and leave. And then when we, you know, I have the right side facing me because I'm going to be sewing it the same way. So, and then when we flip it over, the front panels won't be, they'll be open. So, you know what I mean? So get it all situated out here and even. And we're going to sew up the back the same way. You probably want to sew it up until you get, I don't know. You could try it on as often. I'll probably go up to where I have maybe like inch or inch and a half left. And then I'll try it on. And I might sew it up a little bit more than that. But we'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. So you want to sew it the same way. You can use corresponding color. Since I'm sewing yellow to gray, I'm just going to use some yellow here. And remember, we're sewing it the same way we sewed up the sides here. Gosh, I think I got my, I think this is too long. Let me cut some of this off here. All right. So remember, we're just doing the back, the panel here and this panel here. These right here, these are the front panels, okay? So we're not going to sew them. I mean, you can later if you want this to be a top, like a complete top and not like a vest. Of course, you can do that. Let me zoom in a little bit. Like I said, this is very versatile. You can do whatever you want with it, but I'm going to sew it the same way. So I'm going to go into back loop on the first one. Always putting my needle from the top to the bottom. I'll leave a tail there, and then I'm going to go over here to the other one and go into the front loop on the first one here from the top down. And that's how I'm going to do it. The same way. Back loop on this one. Like I said, that tail is always a nuisance in the beginning. Alright, so I've made it to the top here, and I went all the way up to where I left like maybe a ½ inch or so before, you know, before it was even at the top. If it folded like that, that was even. I just left a little bit, and that's all I'm going to leave. And now I'm just going to tie this off. So I've tightened it up, my seam. So I'm just going to take this and hide my tail. Now remember, you go up as far as, or not as far as you like at the top. I just tried mine on, and it felt okay where it was, so I'm just going to take it now and kind of weave my tail in, back and forth. I'm actually going to kind of pop it to the back side, underside into it. But after this, you know, that's pretty much it. Once you get all your tails in, that's all I'm going to do. But some things that you can do, if you'd like to add more things to it, You can make a belt. You can go around it, you know, clean it up with around the whole thing with single crochet. I'm not going to do that because I use 4 different colors. And you could add fringe to the bottom, which would be pretty cool. You could sew up the front, like I said, up to where there's like a V there, however low you want your V, and make it like a longer top, or you can make it shorter, like I said, and make it a shorter top. You could add sleeves just by doing some rows of double crochet around the sleeve area if you'd like, or you could use the same pattern. You can go around the sleeves to clean them up if you want. I'm just going to leave them though, like I said. I'm not going to do any more to mine because it's simple. All right, there it is, all finished, all sewn, looking good. I like it. I think it looks good. You seen a picture of it there on my mannequin with, you know, she got the belt on, without the belt. I can't wait to see how you do yours. Like I said, this is a great project for someone that's never even done clothing before, because I know I said it a gazillion times. It's just so forgiving. It's so easy to customize. And make sure you refer to the description box, and I do my best to give you the sizes and the amount of yardage that you'll need using a 2-weight. That's what, you know. And yeah, it looks good, I think. So if you enjoyed this, please give me a like and maybe leave a comment below. You know, you don't have to leave any comment of praise or anything. Just tell me hi or something, or an emoji to help that algorithm maybe push out my videos to someone else who might want to learn how to crochet this, who has not seen my videos. That always helps me out. And also, you can always hit that subscribe button. I have tons and tons of tutorials, and I make them often. And we also like to talk about yarn here. So I appreciate it, everybody that watched. And if you make this, please, you can post a picture on my Facebook page. I'd love to see how you customize yours. If you made it long, short, if you added longer sleeves, shorter sleeves, what colors you used. I'm super interested to see how yours looks. Or if you sewed up the front or whatnot. Yeah. I like to look at it. It's exciting to see how people take something I show them and make it their own. I just like to see that. So I'm a nerd. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye guys.